Personal story. Facing the fear of the unknown. Fear is a powerful force, often lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce at the most unexpected moments. For me, the scariest experience of my life was one I never saw coming. A night that would forever change the way I viewed the world and the darkness within it. It all started on a crisp autumn evening, when I decided to take a solo hike through the dense forest near my town. I had always been an adventurous spirit, seeking thrills in the unknown. My friends often called me fearless, the one who would venture into the places that others dared not go. But this time, something felt different. There was a strange unease in the air, something I couldn't quite place, but I brushed it off as nerves. Everyone gets them before an adventure. The forest was eerily quiet as I walked deeper into the trees, the only sounds being the crunch of leaves beneath my boots and the occasional rustle of wind through the branches. The sun had already dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and twist in unnatural ways. It wasn't long before I realized that I was completely alone, far from the safety of the town and surrounded by the oppressive silence of the woods. I told myself it was nothing to worry about, but my heart raced as I heard a faint sound. Footsteps, barely audible. I froze, my senses on high alert. But when I turned around, no one was there. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just an animal or perhaps my imagination running wild. Yet, as I continued on, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every step I took seemed to echo, like I was being followed, though no one was there. The darkness began to deepen, and the trees around me started to feel closer, more oppressive. My mind raced with thoughts of getting lost, of being trapped out here in the unknown, but I tried to ignore them. It was just a forest, after all. Plenty of people had hiked here before and made it out just fine. Still, something wasn't right. I could feel my breath quicken, and my thoughts were consumed by an overpowering fear. Suddenly, I heard a voice. It wasn't loud, but it was unmistakable. A whisper, barely above the wind, right behind me. I spun around, my pulse pounding in my ears, but again, there was no one there. My body froze, and for the first time I felt truly terrified. I tried to convince myself it was just the wind or an animal, but I knew deep down that something far more sinister was at play. I turned and began to retrace my steps, hoping to find the trail and make my way back to the safety of the town. But no matter how much I walked, the trees seemed to shift, the path becoming more twisted and unfamiliar. It was as if the forest itself was playing tricks on me. The further I went, the darker it became, the oppressive silence heavier, and the whispers louder. It felt as if the forest had come alive, watching me, judging me, and I couldn't escape. Panic set in. I tried to run, but the underbrush seemed to grab at my legs, slowing me down. My breath came in ragged gasps, my mind a blur of fear. I had no idea where I was anymore, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was stalking me from just out of sight. I stumbled over roots and branches, falling to the ground, but quickly picking myself up to keep going. I had to escape. I had to get out of the forest. As I sprinted through the woods, I saw a flicker of movement in the corner of my eye, a shadow, humanoid in shape, darting between the trees. My blood ran cold. It was as though I had crossed into some other realm, where the rules of reality no longer applied. I heard the whispers again, louder this time, echoing in my mind. You can't leave. You belong to the woods. My feet carried me faster, my heart hammering in my chest. I didn't stop to look back. The fear of the unknown was suffocating, and I didn't care about anything other than escaping the darkness that seemed to be closing in on me. Eventually, I burst through the tree line and into the clearing, where the faint lights of the town could be seen in the distance. The air felt different here, lighter, as if I had crossed some invisible boundary between the forest and reality. I ran all the way home, never once stopping to look back. That night I couldn't sleep. The fear still gripped me, even in the safety of my own bed. I had faced a terror unlike anything I had ever known, and it haunted me. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me out of the woods, something that still lurked in the shadows, waiting. ###conclusion*. Fear is a powerful emotion, one that can grip us in ways we don't fully understand. My experience in the forest changed me. I had always prided myself on being brave, on being fearless in the face of danger. But that night I was forced to confront something much deeper, the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing control, and the fear that sometimes we are not as in control of our environment as we think. That night in the woods taught me that fear is not always something to be conquered. It is something that must be respected. It is a natural part of being human, a primal instinct that keeps us safe, but it can also consume us if we let it. After that night, I never ventured back into those woods. The whispers still linger in my mind sometimes, and the shadow of what I experienced haunts me in quiet moments. The forest, with all its beauty and mystery, holds secrets that are beyond our understanding. I came face to face with those secrets, and in doing so, I realized that there are forces in this world that we may never fully comprehend. Fear is a reminder of our vulnerability, our humanity, and the thin veil that separates us from the unknown. It's a reminder that not all things are meant to be understood, and some mysteries are better left untouched. Perhaps it was the forest's way of showing me that some questions are better left unanswered. Some fears are not meant to be conquered, and some darkness is best left undisturbed. And though I may never know the full truth of what I encountered that night, I learned one valuable lesson. There are places in this world where fear resides, and sometimes it is better to walk away than to face what lies within.